been still on the thing?
I just plugged it in a minute ago.
But is it still on um
Auto adjust?
auto adjust?
Ought not to be, but let me
Well,
double
yeah,
check.
double check because maybe every time you unplug it, it changes the settings, resets the settings. Because you are still going super high on your levels there.
Am I?
Yeah.
Okay. No, it has not automatically adjusted, but I can lower the input. Test, test, test. How's that?
You're still blowing out the doors. I don't know what's up. I hate you.
I try to make everything difficult.
Yes, well, you're succeeding. Anyway, we'll just get ready to go and um whatever. If it's
Just
shit,
fucking.
it's shit. All right.
Okay. I'm sorry. I did my best.
You did your best. It's not your fault. You've done everything you did last time correctly. So I'm not gonna blame you for it.
Although
Um,
that I basically destroyed like some center console thing on this microphone, and I put it all back together with electrical tape.
yeah. So you ruined it. Okay, good. Good to know. Alrighty. So, are you ready to go?
Yes.
All right. So we are going live in five, four, three. Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another edition of the Mark and Smark Connection podcast. I am your host, Jesse Disbro. Here with me is the Mark. That would be Matt Cooper. Hello.
Hello, everybody.
Hello. I will be playing the role of the Smark today, as I do every day. And we'll be putting together our show. This will actually be the last show of the current format because WWE is changing all of their formats as well. So we're going to have shows on. Oh, we already made the move to coming out on Saturdays because WWE is doing a Monday and Friday. But now, with that in mind and the difference between when the shows come out and when our show comes out, we're going to do less of kind of a retrospective. So this will be the last time that you hear the Matt recap on our show. So with that in mind, why don't you go ahead and send out the Matt recap in style there, Matt?
So, for the first time, for the last time, this is the Matt recap. So, according to the internet ether, nothing really too much happened. They were sort of getting ready for the move to Fox, and that seemed to be what everybody was talking about. I will say that the Fiend made an appearance, and Mandible Clawed Braun Strowman, and Seth Rollins was all afraid of him.
Yeah, I mean that was probably the biggest thing. The fact that Braun Strowman, after taking 3 stomps in a pedigree or 4 stomps in a pedigree or whatever it was in their last match, ended up, taking, I think maybe he took 1 stomp here in this match before the Fiend showed up and gave him like 2 mandible claws, and that was it. So they really used that, like, that, Braun Strowman heat that they had built up, or, his credibility to put over the Fiend here in this spot. So the Fiend looks really super strong going into the match in Hell in a Cell coming up. And
And
yeah,
what I
and if I cower, and I would cower in a corner if I saw the Fiend take out Braun Strowman like that.
yeah, I would like to point out this is something that I've been asking for a while. So if you're gonna have Bray Wyatt be creepy, you need to have him go up against people who are unsettled by him or afraid of him.
Hmm.
Seth Rollins needs to be scared of him, otherwise it's not gonna work.
Right.
So
And if you
I'm
really want Seth Rollins to be the babyface, eventually he'll face his fears and overcome them. But it doesn't even need to be this match, It can be the road going back to retaining a title later or something like that. But
yeah,
yeah, you can't just put him up against Braun Strowman or something who's like, "Roar."
yeah, and that's how these creepy characters are supposed to work. I mean, if you put Bray Wyatt in a match with Randy Orton and Randy Orton barely even blinks, the person who comes out of that looking bad is everybody, but especially Bray Wyatt. And even back in the day, Andre the Giant, for example, when he had matches against Jake the Snake Roberts, he was afraid of snakes.
Mm-hmm.
And so Jake Roberts would bring a snake out. Of course, I mean, he was going to bring a snake out anyway, but
But he made
even,
he made it extra sneaky.
yeah, yeah. So, even great, indomitable giants like Andre the Giant, can be afraid of things. So there's nothing wrong with that. And I saw people on the internet who are like, oh, Seth Rollins, you're a bitch. Look at you, scared of the Fiend. It's like, that's the way it's supposed to work.
Yes, that's
Yeah,
because people on the internet, I want it to be 100% flawless in everything. So if you show any sign of weakness, they'll jump on you and kill you for it.
that's
So
dumb.
it is dumb that people. That's just the internet, though. They always wanna take down the highest ranking people and move forward with that.
Well,
Um,
I'll be honest, they might be pining for the
yes,
attitude era, where
that
everybody,
area where they keep the attitude.
yes, where everybody was like a stone cold badass who was afraid of nothing, and
Well, no,
that
there was a. I mean, you got the Undertaker was still able to scare people.
that's true.
Him and his ministry still spooked quite a few people.
Yeah, they would spook like The Rock. They
The
wouldn't really
Rock
spook
and
Stone
Vince
Cold too
McMahon
much.
and
But
and Stone and yeah, Stone Cold was still. Well, he's Stone Cold.
yeah,
They would be able to scatter DX. They may not be able to spook DX, but DX would at least
run away.
yeah, they know the strength coming at them. So you were pretty much right. A lot of stuff is just stuff moving forward on Raw and SmackDown. The two major things basically came out of Raw, and that was that Carmella finally made her move. She is now the new 24/7 champion, pinning
Oh,
R-Truth.
so she finally like snuck up behind him and pinned
Yep.
him or something.
Yeah, yeah. She called for a cessation of hostilities between the boys, the guys running after R-Truth. And
Hmm.
while everybody was hanging out on the edges of the ring, going, okay, we'll hold off for a second, she rolled up R-Truth and took the title. And R-Truth was like, well, you got me.
He wasn't even mad,
No,
huh?
he wasn't even mad about it. He was like, nope, you got me. And like, yeah, and all the men were like, oh wait, this is the WWE. I'm not sure if I'm allowed to fight Carmella. What do we do here? And they escape, and in that confusion, Carmella escaped because all of the women came out of the back of the back of the locker room and chased after Carmella.
Yeah, I saw a GIF of Kyrie Sane like running full tilt into the audience with the eyeglass up to her face.
Yes, that was on SmackDown because Carmella was in a match with Charlotte against I think it was the Boss and Hug Connection at that point. But yeah, so R-Truth returned the favor now as basically the Robin to Carmella's Batman now, scooping her up and carrying her out of the ring after the end of the match.
Oh,
Because
so people couldn't capitalize on that and get
yeah,
the. That's cool.
yeah. So
I mean, in turnabouts, well, not turnabouts fair play, but
right.
I mean, she helped him a lot. So,
Mm-hmm.
it's good to see he's got a sense of fairness and,
Yeah, exactly. And that's kind of like I've always wanted this kind of story to be told with the 24/7 championship.
mhm.
I was kind of thinking it would be more of a stable or a tag team that would do it that way. Like they'd watch each other's back and win the title away from anybody who might take it from their teammate or whatever, and just kind
Mhm.
of make sure that it stays within the team or the stable, regardless. So, and it's kind of what that is. We'll see whether we get some more intergender type interactions going forward. But for now, the lady jobbers are all going to run after the title for a bit, I guess.
Yeah.
And Rey Mysterio earned a championship opportunity against Seth Rollins on the season premiere of Raw.
Really?
Yeah, so he's
Okay.
going to have a championship match on Monday, which will
Hmm.
be the new season of Raw.
And that's what we're kind of looking forward to going in the next week,
Yeah.
because that's when SmackDown will start on Fox, Raw will start a quote unquote new season on USA, and I've heard there's going to be all sorts of new stuff.
WWE has put like the whole shebang into this. They have made it premiere week.
Oh yeah.
So the season premiere of Raw will be on Monday.
Hmm.
The season premiere of the newest season of Total Divas will be on Tuesday. NXT will premiere as its 2 hour show. They've only been 1 hour so far on Wednesday.
As we've been waiting for like Scrubs or whatever to finish, or
Yeah.
not Scrubs. I'm dating myself there. Suits. There we go. I was
Yes.
close.
Starts
Something
with
you
an
wear to
S.
work, you know.
Something you wear to work. It's a television show. I got you. And then the season premiere of SmackDown on Fox on
Hmm.
Friday, and then Hell in a Cell will actually premiere on Sunday. But it's only one episode of Hell in a Cell. This.
I feel like compared to other things that they've done in recent years, such as like superstar shakeups or Raw reunions and all this other stuff, this one actually feels like a new beginning a little bit.
Yeah, I'm with you here too. They will actually be doing a draft. We found that out last week.
Hmm.
So we will have a legitimate draft, and we'll see if that actually sticks. Whether they sneak wild cards back in or whatever. But
Hmm.
we'll see. But that's not just the only shakeup. Is the scheduling? They announced new announce teams for all of the shows.
Okay.
So the previous Raw announced team was Renee Young, Corey
Hmm.
Graves,
Hmm.
and Michael Cole, and the previous SmackDown announced team was Corey Graves, Tom Phillips, and Byron Saxton.
Okay.
So Tom
So
Phillips and Byron Saxton are out.
they're
Um,
gone.
yep. I think Tom Phillips said that he would be moving to a producer role,
Okay.
at least for the time being. Maybe they'll find him something going forward. Byron Saxton, who knows? Maybe he'll be released. I don't know. We'll find out. But the new,
I've heard people bemoaning Byron Saxton a lot over the last
like,
years or so. I mean, why?
well, he is what he is. He's just this goof. Like
Okay.
if the focus of your product is like 10-year-old, like 7 to 10-year-olds, then
Okay.
he's fine. He's like Steve from Blue's Clues.
Okay.
But like he doesn't there's not any like analysis that he really does. He's just like, "Wow, it's the Bailey Buddies." Or like, "Wow, I really love this face wrestler." So
Okay.
that's really what it is. And he
So he's
does
just like this gee whiz, golly shucks, gee williker sort
mhm.
of guy that
And
okay.
he can't really hold his own against Corey Graves most of the time.
Hmm.
He is like he is fun, but that's about all he's got going for him. So the
Okay.
kind of it makes sense to kind of mix him up here a little bit. So we're getting basically brand new people to Raw.
Okay.
So Raw, the team will have play-by-play from Vic Joseph, who has been the play-by-play person for 205 Live for a long time.
Okay.
He will be joined by his 205 Live analysis, Dio Madden, who's a relatively new commentator for that show.
Hmm.
They had Percy, I forget what his last name was, who was an NXT wrestler and then did some NXT commentary, then moved to 205 commentary, and I think he's kind of been cycled out of the
Hmm.
commentary list. And
Okay.
then there's this guy called Jerry the King Lawler who's going to be on Raw.
Oh, they're bringing back Jerry, huh?
Yeah, he's going to be a full-time commentator again for the first time in many years.
Well, let's see how that works. I think Jerry Lawler always worked best next to good old JR.
Yeah,
But
so we'll see. We'll see how Vic Joseph is relatively straight-laced, so he might be able to play off as the straight man to
mhm,
Jerry the King Lawler pretty well. And
mhm,
Dio Madden will be kind of I think he'll kind of be the other half of the foil. Like I don't think Dio Madden is like the face analyst, but I think instead of Jerry the King is just gonna do outrageous one-liners. That's what he
that's
does.
what he does. Yeah.
And I
I
think
will
Dio
say
Madden will be more of the traditional like analyst.
I will say this.
Feel
Not the
better.
coughing.
Feel better,
Yes.
Matt. By the
I'm
way,
here to
Matt is a little sick. He's toughing it out for us here
yeah.
to get this out.
I'm here to cough into the mic, everybody. So,
Yeah, that's his new
I
gimmick.
yes, I'm Matt coughing in the mic Cooper. That's my opening music. When you hear coughing, it's yeah. Stop. You're gonna make me laugh, which is gonna make me cough. Don't do that. Okay.
We triggered it. All right, moving
No.
on. Back to
No,
Jared.
I have an observation.
Yeah, back to your observation. I mean, that's what I'm
Yeah,
moving on to.
yeah. Okay. Um, I've been thinking about it this past day, and when I was thinking of commentary teams of old that I liked, there were always like two men commentary teams.
Yeah.
It's like Jerry the King and JR, or Gorilla Monsoon and Vince McMahon, or Gorilla Monsoon and Bobby the Brain Heenan, or it was never a three-person panel.
And a
So
lot of
when did
people
this?
pine for the same kind of thing. It
Yeah.
happened relatively recently. I think the brand split was really where it started to go crazy.
Okay.
I think they started during the Ruthless Aggression era. It kind of ballooned out, and then they just kind of kept it because you had 3-man teams on both shows for a long time. So
Yeah.
at this point, they have a lot of commentators under contract, so it makes sense to kind of push them all through. Um, this is kind of interesting though because it's the 205 live guys getting pulled up, and a previous guy who hadn't been working with the company, excuse me, um, extensively coming back as well for Raw. So that's
Hmm.
very interesting. The SmackDown team will feature Michael Cole, who was the voice of SmackDown for a long, long, long time before he
Okay.
basically became the voice of WWE.
Hmm.
Um, it was kind of a coup when they pulled Michael Cole off of SmackDown and put Mauro Ranallo in, and
Hmm.
then they just never returned Michael Cole to the second show. They had Tom Phillips go in. Now he'll be returning back to SmackDown, and
Hmm.
and he will be doing a 2-man table with Corey Graves, except when Renee Young is there. So
Okay.
Renee Young is being named as a special contributor.
Okay.
She will be performing as an analyst every now and again.
Okay.
But from what I can glean from this is that it will kind of be a 2-man show. So we might actually get like Bobby the Brain Heenan and Gorilla Monsoon between Michael
Okay.
Cole and Corey Graves, and you can kind of see that interaction. That's something that could happen in this.
And I'm just happy that they got Corey Graves and Renee away from each other, to be honest.
Well, they'll still fight every now and again. Renee will actually be doing the studio show WWE Backstage on FS1 along with Booker T.
I think that's a fine place for her. I mean, I didn't have a problem with her on commentary, period. But it got real goddamn old listening to her and Corey Graves, like rah 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 rah
Going
rah.
back and forth.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, so so on Tuesdays beginning on November 5th, the
Hmm.
WWE Backstage, which is the studio show, will start. So it'll be like any other sports studio show, talking heads there, like
Hmm.
kind of like a
Kind of
bit
like
like a sport
Shaq and
like a sports
uh,
center or pardon the interruption or something along those lines. Those two will be the host, and then they'll bring in um, additional superstars, current and former, other personalities, and they'll weigh in on the biggest stories in WWE. So that's
man. The
where
only
Renee is gonna kind of put her focus going forward.
the only one of those I know is the one with Shaquille O'Neal and Charles Barkley and two other guys.
Yeah. No, and then
NBA on
there's always
TNT, I
yeah,
think, or
and then
whatever.
there's always the baseball, football, all those different ones. So that's
Hmm.
basically what it's gonna be.
I
Um,
mean, that's fun.
we the current NXT play-by-play team will continue to be there. That's Mauro Ranallo, Beth Phoenix, and Nigel McGuinness.
It sounds like a fantastic combination. I'm happy that Morrow is back on television.
Oh, and Mauro, like, he really unchained it that the first week.
Hmm.
Like, he's not normally as verbose as he was. He's very verbose. He's very good, but it just seemed like he was letting all of them loose. And
Verbose is a negative word, you know.
um, yes.
I know what you're trying to say. I'm sorry.
Um,
But for the grammarians out there who were mashing the unsubscribe after they heard that, it's like, no, no,
yeah.
wait.
Well,
We know. but Mauro
Well,
Ronaldo
in
like
this
dialed it
case,
up to
in
10,
in
right?
this case, he was verbose. It
Oh,
was
uh-oh.
it was too much that he was doing. Like he has these great like metaphors and pop culture references and all these things that he throws in there. It was a little too much this time. It was a little too many of them
Yeah,
in
I
this
mean you
case.
cannot eat an entire chocolate cake in one setting. I get it.
No, it was very rich. But I mean, it was the first show on network television. He probably pulled out more than he normally does and normally will. So I was willing to forget it because they were mostly good, and as long as that doesn't become the trend, it should be fine. So I'm excited about that. This week, this premiere week that they've put together, has some big stuff going on.
They
Like
got some title matches, don't
yep,
they?
Rollins versus Rey Mysterio.
Oh,
Um,
cool.
AJ Styles versus Cedric Alexander for the U.S. title.
Hmm.
Brock Lesnar is going to be on both shows, so he'll be on Raw.
Oh,
Um,
wow.
the Miz
They'll be
T,
exhausted.
yeah, he won't be wrestling on Raw.
Well, let me ask you a technical question.
Mm-hmm.
Raw's on Monday,
Yep.
SmackDown's on
Friday.
Friday.
Yep.
SmackDown's gonna be taped.
No, it's still going to be live.
How are they gonna do that?
They're going to show up on Friday night and do the show.
Okay.
So their dark days become like Wednesday, Thursday, which I think they've always been the dark days for WWE.
What
Um,
is it? Dark?
like theater has dark nights where they don't
Okay.
perform. So for
Oh,
WWE, the nights they don't perform are like Wednesday and Thursday.
I'm all of the people back at the University of Houston from whom I got my theater minor are shaking their head.
Yes. So they usually go out on tour Friday, Saturday, Sunday,
Huh?
Monday, Tuesday, and then the Monday night wrestlers wouldn't. The Raw wrestlers wouldn't be on the tour on Monday, and the SmackDown wrestlers wouldn't be on the tour on Tuesdays. Now it's just
Yeah,
going to be the same, except the SmackDown wrestlers won't be on the tour on Friday nights.
cool.
Yeah, so that's how that should be cool.
Do you
Uh,
think any of those titles are gonna change hands?
I don't know. This I think I'm gonna see what. So SmackDown's 20th anniversary show will be Friday,
Oh
and
wow.
that's Kofi Kingston versus Brock Lesnar. Um, let's
I
see.
kind of would not be surprised if Kofi Kingston lost it to Brock
It's
Lesnar.
possible. That's definitely a possible. There's no other championships on that Friday night, but we will have the Shane McMahon Kevin Owens loser gets fired match.
Oh boy.
So that should be the big draw that they put in, the big one that has a finale. God damn it. Hopefully, the big one where either one of them wins and something happens that's final.
Hopefully Kevin Owens doesn't get sucked into a Shane McMahon quagmire like The Miz did for a while.
Yeah. He's already like up to his ankles and closing in on his knees, so he's got to get out now.
Yeah.
So yeah, but NXT made an entire card of championship matches.
Ooh.
So they're going Wednesday Night War hard and heavy.
Well, I mean, they got to stand up to AEW. Does that premiere next week?
I was just double checking. I think it's the. Oh yeah, no, it is next week. October the 2nd. So they
All
will
right.
be directly against the AEW Dynamite show, and I'm just trying to find the card for AEW Dynamite because we'll talk about that afterwards.
Dynamite.
We'll talk about that
Okay.
afterwards. It doesn't. It's not as stacked a card as NXT looks to be. By the
Mm.
way, NXT will also have a pre-show with Charlie Caruso, Pat McAfee, and Doink the Clown, aka Sam Roberts,
Okay.
the guy
I
with
get
the
it.
with
No,
the
I get it. I
big
get it.
curly fro. Yeah.
I get it. I
Um.
was I was starting to choke on rage, but I was like, oh, okay.
No, that'll be on WWE Network, WD.com, YouTube, social, all that stuff. So that'll be streaming live there.
I imagine Doink the Clown sitting behind the NXT table, with a little bow tie, and I was like, God damn it,
That
no.
that would actually be. I would like that segment. I wouldn't want it forever, but that would probably be a fun segment if that were to happen.
Mhm.
So that's the pre-show for NXT. They're gonna have the Undisputed Era has all the belts on the line that week. I believe. Oh no,
Mhm.
wait. No, it looks like the North American title will not be on the line.
Okay,
But Bobby Fish and Kyle O'Reilly will get a rematch against the Street Profits. Street Profits
cool.
trying to win the title back. Adam Cole will face Matt Riddle, who won the finish essentially of the Last Man Standing match that was the previous week against Killian Dane.
Hmm.
So they didn't get to finish that match the previous week. So this last week they did, and Matt Riddle won, and then caught caught Adam Cole pointing at him and telling him that he'll never be good in an arm bar or something like that. So he
Oh,
got a
yeah,
little heat on that.
I remember that. He came out and he was just like pointy point point. He was just begging him. He was like, grab
Uh
my
huh.
arm and wrench it off.
Yep.
And
So there'll be an NXT Championship match that night, and it's be two top stars facing each other. And Shayna Baszler will take on Candice LeRae in the women's title match. That was Candice LeRae who won the Fatal 4-Way the week before. There also will feature Johnny Gargano in a match against Shane Thorne, and the Velveteen Dream Experience will debut.
no, god damn it! Who put experience on the end of his name?
He's
Vince?
he's worked with that one before,
Oh,
and
has he?
it's a Hendrix.
I get it. I get it. I get
You
it.
know, are you
I got
experienced kind
triggered
of
after
thing.
what they did to the War Raiders.
Yeah,
So
so I got where you're coming from, but this one actually makes sense, and it fits with the character, and it works like that.
so calm down, hold your horses. Da da
Yeah,
da da
god damn it. Um,
da.
Otherwise, there's one other pre-show this week. SmackDown Friday Night SmackDown will have a kickoff show, a blue carpet special at
Blue carpet
7:30 on
special.
Fox. Yeah. So
Oh, nice.
they'll have celebrities and legends and superstars will arrive on the blue carpet and get interviewed or whatever before the show, for the 20th anniversary show.
Sounds like fun.
Yeah, it does sound like fun.
Honest, one of my favorite things about award shows is the red carpet. I don't give a shit who wins anything. I just want to see what they're wearing,
Yeah,
man.
we'll get to see what all the wrestlers are wearing. They'll all probably be dressed up nice. If the Street Profits show up, they might be dressed up like Cam Newton. But other
Yep.
than that,
By the way, guys, the best red carpets to watch are the MTV Video Music Awards and the Met Gala. I mean, the Oscars are fine, whatever, but the Grammys too, because those are some fun outfits.
all right. So here's the AEW Dynamite debut match card.
Dynamite.
Dynamite.
The name of the show, Dynamite.
Dynamite. Yep. Wednesday
Couldn't I
night
guess
Dynamite.
trope was already somebody had already used that. That was already a blowy uppy thing, huh?
Yeah. Yep. Wednesday night Dynamite.
That works
So
better than
it,
like Wednesday night gasoline.
yeah, it works well. It's fine. It's a little silly, but it's enough of a callback to relatively silly names,
I
and it
read
rolls off the tongue fairly well. So
I read somewhere on Reddit that and this is, sourced from Reddit, so terrible sourcing, but Tony Khan, I guess the guy who's
hmm
throwing money at this,
yeah.
that was evidently the name of the show that he fantasy booked when he was a kid.
Oh, that's cool. I mean, I'll take that. You know what? If you're throwing money at it,
Yeah.
and you want to fantasy book a show, and then you actually get to really book a show, sure. And
Yeah.
it's not like WrestleMans. It's not like something silly that you might have come up with when you're 7.
Yeah.
It's a little silly, but it works.
Well, Dynamite works better than like Tony's Awesome Wrestling League.
Yeah,
So,
Wrestle Festia.
mm-mm.
Which is a bit of a disease that you get from the mat wrestling.
Yeah.
So the debut card, Cody Rhodes will be continuing kind of his trend of wrestling someone who is not. It's not really like a dream match. He'll be wrestling Sammy Guevara or Guevara.
Guevara.
Correct.
Guevara.
Guevara. Yeah. So
Yeah.
he'll be wrestling Sammy in that match, and it should be a good match because Sammy is really talented. He's a huge high flyer, big spot kind of guy. So it'll be this might be kind of the introduction to Sammy as a top flight AEW guy.
So I imagine Cody will be out there to put him over.
No, Cody won't put him over.
Well, Cody will allow him to do. He's not gonna Triple H him though.
No, he is gonna Triple H him because Cody is Triple H.
I don't
He
think
he has
man,
done
like
he has done nothing to persuade me that he isn't yet.
I don't think Cody Rhodes would like it if he heard that.
I don't think he would either, and I think he would immediately change the booking so he would lose if he heard that.
Oh, that's the trick, right? Okay.
but
It's like, all right, Cody. Oh, Triple H.
but it just seems like he's very quickly becoming the thing he hates. You know, like this
Interesting.
all-powerful Booker man who's still wrestling and putting himself over. So like I'm worried. I just like if he loses this match outright, or even via disqualification or something like that, because I don't even think like the Darby Allin match that he had, where it was Cody versus Darby Allin.
Hmm.
I don't believe Darby. I can't remember. Darby Allin may have won by disqualification, but it didn't really feel like that. So we'll see. If he loses, I'll feel a lot better about the direction of the company. If he wins, I will have some more skepticism. I will reserve my skepticism. Um,
I see your point.
the women's championship will be on the line. So Nyla Rose will be facing Riho. I think we talked a little bit about this after the last pay per view.
Was Nyla Rose the transgender wrestler?
Yes, and Riho is the 5'1" Joshi wrestler.
Okay, yeah, I remember this, and I remember the internet being all
Yeah.
about it.
So it'll be very interesting to see how they do it. It'll probably be a David and Goliath kind of story. Um, but we'll see. We'll just see how it goes. And
I, I
I
I
think
come to the internet on my hands and knees, begging with tears in my eyes. Please, however that turns out, be civil, control yourselves. Fuck,
I
for
think
fuck's sake,
I think
you know?
they've got a reasonable, like, either way it'll work out well for them. I think.
Okay, let's.
Because I think putting the belt on the first openly transgender wrestler will be at the very least something that gets you in the headlines.
Oh yeah,
It could be an inspiring story. It could be at the very least something that gets you in the headlines. And putting the belt on the Joshi wrestler will be kind of this stamp of approval for that style of wrestling as something you should tune in to watch. Just like the cruiserweights was something that you should tune into WCW to watch. And just like hardcore wrestling was something that you should tune into ECW to watch.
to be honest, if I had to book that and be cynical, I think that they would have the Joshi wrestler win,
Mm-hmm.
just because you could tell a David and Goliath story, and then you won't. I mean, it's good to have a openly transgender champion, and I think that will happen. But I think AEW might want to avoid any possible backlash at the headlines with that, because the same people from the internet will come out of the woodwork for that, and they'll say, "Whoa, that person's really a man, and that's not fair." And da 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 da.
Yeah.
Once again, I would like to point back to the kayfabe news headline. People complaining about result in rigged sport. It's like, give me a
Yeah.
fucking break, guys. So
So we will be getting the Adam Hangman Page versus Pac match we were supposed to see at the first AEW pay per view.
was this before Pac had like visa troubles or?
Yeah, and then they actually sent Adam Hangman Page across the pond to wrestle against Pac or Pac. I'm not sure how he's.
Pac or Pac?
I
It's
think it's
like data or
Pac.
data.
I think it's Pac actually.
Well, if he's British, it'll be Pac.
So we'll
But if
get.
he's American, it'll be Pac.
Yeah, well, we'll find out. We'll find out when we watch the show on Wednesday. Kenny
Yeah.
Omega and the Young Bucks will be fighting Chris Jericho and two mystery partners, so this could be two big debuts. It could be two people in Doink the Clown masks. Who knows? It's Chris Jericho. It could be any of that.
Hopefully, it's not little people.
No, probably not. I think he will actually bring legitimate wrestlers because this could be the match that steals the show on that night. But I guess Chris Jericho, from his little bit of the bubbly rant when he was kind of making fun of the Bucks at the very beginning of it, this might be kind of where this is coming from, and positioning maybe Kenny Omega to come in as that first big feud for Chris Jericho. The only other match that's booked is MJF versus Brandon Cutler. This will probably be this will probably just be a match to put MJF over.
MJF, what's that short for?
Maxwell Jordan Freeman.
Maxwell Jordan Freeman.
I don't know.
Okay.
I can't remember off the top of my head what it stands for. What it
It'd be
stands
funny if it
for
didn't
is he's
stand
an
for anything.
asshole. That's what
He's
it
an
stands
asshole.
for.
Okay,
yes.
great.
Anyone who goes by their three and Maxwell Jacob Friedman.
kind of like Triple H,
Hmm.
Hunter Hearst Helmsley.
Yes, it's that same kind of idea. He is better than you, and he will tell you that to your face.
I don't know. Bam Bam Bigelow had like a three-letter, three-word name, and he wasn't. Never mind.
No, you're stretching. You're reaching.
Yeah, no, I,
You're
I,
reaching.
I definitely reached for that one.
Um, yeah. The very first line on MJF's website is "better than you, and you know it."
Brutus the Barber Beefcake. No, that's a
No,
nickname.
that's a nickname, and
Yeah,
it's also
doesn't
not. He's
work.
not
Okay.
going. It's like Montel Vontavious Porter, MVP,
Oh, wow. Okay.
was also kind of a pretentious
So that's a
guy.
much. That's a much. Or JBL,
Yes, or
John
JBL,
Bradford. Hey,
Bradshaw
I found a
Layfield.
good
Yes,
one.
you did it. You get there.
Hey, yay! I did
Yay!
it! Yay!
Anyway, John Moxley's scheduled to appear. So he won't be able to wrestle because I think he's still MRSA'd. Um,
Merced?
yeah, he staph infection, MRSA.
MRSA.
Yes.
Okay.
Um, so I think he's still not in wrestling shape. Maybe he does some moves. Maybe he does a whatever they're calling the dirty deeds these days. I can't remember what it's called, but maybe he does one of those as he makes his debut on TV.
Wait
And
a minute. I
then
thought I thought he had more elbow trouble.
yes, that's where the MRSA is.
Oh goddamn.
He had surgery, and then the area with the surgery got infected with the staph infection.
Goddamn.
Yeah,
And
so he
that's a risk of surgery, folks.
uh and he got a recurrence of it recently.
It's hard to get rid of.
Yeah, so he'll be there. That is announced. And then Cody. I'm reading here on this MSN article that Cody has stated we've only seen 40% of the AEW roster. So there could be some more, besides maybe even the mystery partners. Um, we might see some more people join in. We might see there's probably a couple more matches that'll be booked that day. There might be some more women's matches.
Excuse me.
We'll find
It'd be
out.
nice to have some good old fashioned filler matches.
Yeah.
You know, just
Well,
like dudes come out and wrestle.
yeah. I mean, we'll see. They probably will fit at least one more in. I don't think they have a 2-hour show. And they do subscribe to the more is more um kind of credo where the matches are longer than say WWE's matches.
Mm,
So there might not be much more in terms of matches for that night, but we'll find out when we get there.
okay.
So that's the
As we
week that's
said,
coming up. Hot damn.
as we said over and over and over and over these past couple of weeks, we're up to our eyeballs in wrestling now.
Well, we're
So,
finally getting there too.
and I
So
will say that um I don't know if we did this last year or the year before, but I'm getting my New Year's Eve wish or my New Year's resolution wish, which is for WWE to have competition on television. So
yeah, and the Impact is kind of trying to make a push too. They've moved to Access TV, which is actually a relatively well watched
mhm.
channel. And let's see, when I thought they were moving to Tuesdays. I
Tuesdays.
believe that's what's happening.
That which, by the way,
Okay,
to
right
all you,
now, right now they're on the Pursuit channel and Twitch on
okay.
Fridays. I think when they move to Access, they'll move to Tuesdays, but I gotta double check on that.
Which, by the way, for all you fellow cord cutters out there, because cable is evil, and anybody who works in that industry has sold their soul. Um, sorry, Jesse.
Well, yeah, that's because people have been cord cutting. It's
Well,
all your fault that we have to sell our soul because
well, the
you're
funny thing
taking
is that
food off of our table.
the funny thing is that we're getting to the point where we have like Disney Plus and
Yeah,
BET Plus, and
there's an Impact Plus right now too.
yeah, they're gonna start nickel and diming us to death, and somebody's gonna say, "Man, I wish I could get all these channels in one thing," and somebody's gonna say, "Wait, maybe we can reinvent cable." So
It's actually kind of happening. I actually spoke to somebody who
yeah,
had looked at doing Hulu and Netflix and this and that and realized that they weren't able to find all of what they wanted in one thing. So they would have to get 3 or 4 different things in order to get all they wanted when all they needed to do was just get cable. So we might already be sliding back. It's interesting. That's
It,
a industry conversation for another day or another
yeah,
podcast.
and to be honest, as an aside, if cable were able to offer its shows on demand the way that a lot of these streaming services do, that would probably just drive a spike right into.
Apparently, you haven't had cable in a while because they have a lot of shows on demand.
I haven't had cable in 15 years.
Yeah, they have a lot of shows that are on demand right now,
Oh, okay.
including previous past seasons, current seasons. Like usually, the last couple of weeks are available if you miss them to
About
watch on
Stranger Things.
demand. No, because it's Netflix. However, so a lot of the major companies
Mm-hmm.
have Netflix integrated into their cable boxes, so you
Hmm.
don't even have to leave the cable box to watch Netflix.
See, he's working his selling routine here
I
on
am
me.
right now. Yep,
Yeah,
and Matt's
yeah.
going, okay, all right,
Okay.
maybe.
I'll sign
Anyway,
up for some Central New York Xfinity now. Um, shit. Now I forgot what I was gonna say. Oh, for all you cord cutters out there, if you're wondering how to watch all this, in kind of a more efficient way, there's a sticky thread in the wrestling subreddit, which is called Squared Circle. Um, basically, you go to like Sling TV, the blue package or whatever, and that gets you like the most bang for your buck. It doesn't include everything.
no, that'll. I think that one has the Fox in it, and I think it has the USA in it, and TNT. So I
Yeah,
think it has enough to get you all of the major shows. You still won't be able to watch,
I think New
uh,
Japan or Ring of Honor or
yeah,
anything like.
or Impact, or you won't be able to watch the studio show on FS1.
Yeah,
Um,
but if you're as WWE and AEW centric as we tend to be on the show, then that's a
it's a
good
good
place.
compromise. Yeah, you get yourself the network for $9.99 and Sling for whatever they're charging right now. I think it's like 20 or $30 for just the blue package.
Hmm.
And it's still around the same price as cable once you factor in your Netflix that you already
Yeah,
have or whatever.
and what's funny is the very first reply in that thread is somebody like, or you could just go to wrestle.do watch it for free, and it's like, oh yeah, that's right.
Yeah, you can
There's
always
always,
go to that, and then
there's always a cheap ass way to
there's
watch shit.
always somebody illegally streaming it through some sort of thing. And that's it is what it is. Either you get a good stream and you're able to watch it clear from some sort of Canada feed, or your stream is buffering every 5 minutes. So it's a kind of a crapshoot when you do it that way.
True,
So
damn true.
that's basically everything that's happening. We're kind of thinking forward here in this show, which is how we're kind of gonna go with us going forward. Is we'll be thinking more forward in our shows, so we'll be doing a bit more previews, a bit more what we want to see out of WWE, and a little bit less what happened this week. So that should be. We'll have the brand new format with a new way to kick off the show. We'll still be keeping the hot tag, hot take, which is how we generally finish the show. That's
Speaking of which, hot tag, hot take. At the end of each show, we have this segment where, just like a hot tag, we tag in and we have a hot take about wrestling. Typically, it's something related directly or even tangentially related. It could be a piece of toast we saw that looked like John Cena. It's all it's got to be, and the other guy can't really do any commentary. So, since I've tagged in, I'm going to give my first hot take, and that is that I saw on a web commercial for WWE 2K20 that evidently there's going to be like a Hulkamania mode where Hulkamania has fallen into disgrace, and you, as the Hulkster, have to rebuild it, which is hilarious. I think that means he's going to have to like wrestle people. I assumed that it should just be walking around backstage apologizing to all the black wrestlers, but I don't think that's how that's going to go.
Yeah, well, we'll find out because I'm gonna hot tag, hot take, and boot you to the side, clean out the ring here. I am really excited about NXT. Holy smokes! You're not supposed to interrupt me even with coughing.
I tried not to cough.
But NXT this last show really kind of got to show off what I think NXT will be moving forward. We got to see a lot of the depth of NXT, which I think is important, especially seeing as we're trying to get a 2-hour show. So Dominic Dijakovic is back. He's healthy, and he faced the other big man big man wrestler they have, Keith Lee, in a great match. So that's great. We got Dakota Kai, one of my favorites, came back from injury this week. Also excited about that. And we're just seeing a lot of newer wrestlers, some that we have seen before. The former Trevor Lee, aka Cameron Grimes in NXT, and Brazongo were in the main event against Imperium last week. So I'm always happy to see some Brazongo.
All right. Now it's time for the finishing move. The finishing move is a finisher that I create, typically a tag team finisher based upon the conversations of the day. This one is actually going to be a singles finisher. You can use it in a tag match. I call this one Big Fucking Q. You grab them and put them in the $1 Million Dream, except they're prone on the mat and they go to sleep.
Okay.
If you ever watched Dennis Leary talk about NyQuil, you'll understand what I mean by Big Fucking Q.
Put you to sleep. Got it. Because
Yeah.
I was about to have a big Q for you, as in, what were you talking about?
I was talking about NyQuil.
Well, that's
God
good.
rest
I'm
its
glad.
soul.
I'm glad you. God rest your soul when you take
Yeah,
NyQuil.
yeah.
So that'll be that. We're going to take that submission victory, get the bell rung, walk back to the back. Matt's gonna down like 2 more gallons of NyQuil. Hopefully he doesn't get bopped at the cash register for buying that much NyQuil, and we don't have any wellness violations. And then we're gonna go ahead and listen to our podcast, the very last featuring the Matt's recap. Little tear flows from my eye as we listen to it on markandsmark.podbean.com, Spotify, iTunes, Google Play Music, YouTube, Facebook.com/markandsmark. You can also find us on social at Mark and Smark on Twitter and Instagram, and you also have the Daily Smark podcast, the Daily Smark website, which is a clearinghouse for podcasts, including ours. So for Matt Coughing Cooper, I am Jesse Disbro. Thank you, everybody, and we will catch you next time.